I wanted to talk about two things today: the assassins of the Iron Sultanate and the role played by the Temple of Metamorphosis within the war as spies. First up, the Iron Sultanate assassin. Welcome back to the trenches and let's begin. They go by many names: Ghost Wolves, the Secret Knives, Subtle Vipers, the Sultan's Wrath. Whatever they are called, assassins of the Sultanate instill terror in the hearts of even the most dauntless. Assassins are a legendary order of mystic warriors, notorious the world over for their esoteric arts and ruthlessness. Atop a forbidding mountain broods the Oink's fortress, Alamut the Unconquerable. Behind its shadowed walls, great secrets are hoarded by the ancient Magi. Some say that the founder of the Order of Assassins, Rashid ad-Din Sinan, best known as the Old Man of the Mountain, still holds his court here. A preposterous rumour, naturally, since that would make him close to 8 centuries old. Though this sect of assassins is seen as heretical by many within the lands of the Iron Wall, a pact forged between Sultan and the Mountain ensures that the warbands of the believers often include one of these supreme killers in their service. Assassins are able to bend space and time using sacred rituals and powerful hallucinogens discovered by Magi of the Order. Within this esoteric power, they prowl behind enemy lines, hunting their targets with merciless efficiency. They can seemingly appear in two places at once, strike an enemy with startling speed, and then travel back in time to a moment a few heartbeats before, safe from any retaliation. They do this in service of their Sultan, whose enemies they are charged to destroy, in a form of ritual, holy murder. To carry out this task, the assassins are painfully altered by many powerful unguents, chemicals and potions. They stand much taller than a normal man, and are many times as fast and strong. Though adept with all manner of weapons, assassins favour the poisoned blade forged in the unknown depths of Alamut. These weapons are imbued with the supreme poison, the Milk of Manat, also known as the Cup of Death. A simple touch of these blades upon unprotected flesh is certain death, as the body of the victim turns black and rots from within over the course of several excruciating seconds. In chthonic chambers deep below the surface, generations of young assassins are raised, where they are fed an awful, bitter, rich diet with strange toxins. Generation by generation, their tolerance grows, until the blood of these willing vessels is drawn and then smelted into a poisonous iron. The iron is forged into wicked curving blades, and deadly spells of slaying are led into each fold of the toxic metal. Finally, the red-hot blades are quenched in the venom of the pale, unnatural offspring of a basilisk and a manticore. Thus the blood of the first generation of assassins still lives to this day, growing more potent with each generation, and the weapons of this faction will cover next. First up, the assassin's dagger. Simply, this is imbued with the supreme poison. They also have a warband. The pact between the Iron Sultanate and the assassin fortress of Alamut ensures the Sultan is served by the exquisitely skilled killers of the Old Man of the Mountain in exchange for independence of the assassin's domain. But though most outsiders know the assassins through their service to the forces of the Iron Wall, sometimes during the dark of night, small deadly bands move silently into the hellscape of no man's land. In deepest secrecy, Rashid ad-Din Sinan, the undisputed ruler of Alamut, dispatches his hand-picked disciples on missions of his own, communicating their order with no spoken words, signs not written messages, but talking directly to them in their dreams. What the purpose of such operations is, no one knows, and not even the most sadistic heretic torture priest has been able to make them divulge the secrets of Alamut from captured assassins. These warbands are dedicated to completing their mission and returning to Alamut to receive rewards said to be able to match those of paradise itself. They are led by a master assassin, one of the deadly Hands of Alamut, with 2 fully trained members of the Order. A number of trainee acolytes will serve them during the mission, eager to prove their mettle and be initiated into the Order of Assassins. Alamut is also home to a renegade sect of dervishes, warrior monks sworn to poverty with the lethal way of fighting. They accompany the assassins on their secret missions as an act of piety and payment for their shelter, and their whirling dance of death has been the end of many a disbeliever. Their weapons are the golden kanya, placed on the hand of an especially favoured killer by the old man of the mountain himself. These wickedly curved daggers gleam as if they were made of gold, but instead they are crystallized poison and allow their wielder to attack twice in the same instance of time. Only the master of Alamut himself knows the secret of making these blades. Another weapon they use is the bow of Alamut. This terrifying double-stringed bow shoots its deadly barbs through both time and space. Its arrows can reach impossible distances and pass through armour by flickering through time. It leaves behind a temporal slipstream that the assassin can travel through in an eye blink, made from wood taken from trees planted in the skulls of ancient assassins in the Garden of Alamut, so that they might absorb mystic powers of their former owners. These bows are some of the greatest treasures of the Old Man of the Mountain, for it is said that only 6 now remain in his secret armories. They also have Hashashin leaf. These leaves from the secret garden of Alamut enhance the strength of anyone who eats them threefold. Once the effect wears off, the subject will suffer from agonizing muscle tears and ripping of ligaments, but many of the Order of Assassins feel that this is a small price to pay for being able to use deadlier weapons. Now on to the Temple of Metamorphosis. I get it's a bit of an odd statement, me saying, oh, they're spies for the forces of hell, but listen to what I've pulled out of this short story that I covered in the previous video and see what you think. In the short story about them, we are told 2 things that make me think they operate as spies. 1, a newly reborn acolyte comes clicking into the scriptorium, where many of his brother and sister acolytes are penning propaganda to distribute throughout the heretical provinces. At an empty desk, he dips his finger-like mandibles in ink and proceeds to write a screed based on the signs he just beheld beyond the doorway, signs that become symbols on parchment made from the hides of willing sacrifices, symbols that will worm into the brains of any readers, and there lay the seeds of transformation. So they will change, and in the meantime, the temple will have eyes and ears in heretical places. Also we're told they capture a man of New Antioch and open his skull, jotting down the intel about the city's defences. They read from the convolutions of his brain. The story also states eggs are packaged in great cases, taken up by possessed pigeons. The birds will drop eggs all over New Antioch. Maybe 1 in 1,000 of the maggots that burst from them will find a willing host, but 1 is all that's needed. Through that person's eyes, the scries in their bulging cocoons will search the city for weaknesses. And it said, all these activities, however, are just chores, the monastic performance for others within the orders of hell, in return for their continued solitude. So as well as transforming people, I think those 3 acts are also ways that they gather information. Looking through the eyes of someone for weakness, that very much speaks to me of spying. Anyway, that's how they are valued by hell. And as with the above methods, they gather information to aid the cause of Shaitan. So let me know what you think to that last bit, talking about the Temple of Metamorphosis and the general assassin lore altogether. I think it's pretty cool. I do like the idea of them sort of leaping through time and that to defeat their enemies. Anyway, I'll wrap up today's video there. Do you want to make me a comment down below? And if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, why not try this one?